Good afternoon or evening. Welcome faculty, parents, grandparents, tertiary but still cherished family members, people who saw a crowd outside and decided to see what was up. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you today to celebrate this outstanding group of soon-to-be Durham Academy alumni. This commencement ceremony is special in many ways, mostly because of this very special class of seniors, but also because Durham Academy's first upper school commencement exercises for the graduating class of 1975 took place 40 years ago, right about this time. Actually, the date was Friday, June 6, 1975, at 8 p.m. in the upper school gym. 40 years. As with any anniversary, it's an arbitrary distinction. Next year will be 41 years, and no one will think to reminisce. But celebrating base 10 systems is reason enough to pause and think about what those seniors experienced 4 decades ago, and why our connections to them remain deep and strong. So a little brief history. The Senior Awards program for the class of 1975 took place the night before graduation. Very few awards were presented, but it was a much smaller class and a more limited curriculum. I did enjoy the notation at the end of the program of, quote, many other fine people to consider, which turned out to be the members of the class who didn't win anything. 27 seniors graduated on June 6, 40 years ago. The prelude and processional were played by the Duke String School Ensemble, and Dr. Juanita M. Krebs, VP and James B. Duke Professor of Economics at Duke, who then next year became Jimmy Carter's Secretary of Commerce, gave the address. So, Coach Cutcliffe, no pressure, but if this goes well, you can get a cabinet appointment out of it. In 1975, diplomas were awarded by a man whose name should sound familiar, Dr. Banks Anderson, Jr., President of the Board of Trustees, and Headmaster Robert Johnson. The alma mater was sung, probably in much the same way we will sing it today, and a reception followed in the library. We've come a long way since then. It's tempting to look down our nose at those graduates. You, seniors, are undoubtedly more worldly and sophisticated than they were at the time, and from our angle of repose, their lives seem so simple. Of course, we are always living in the most complicated time in human history. But it's worth remembering those graduates were facing in 1975. The Watergate trials, the end of the Vietnam War, both of which led to a distinct distrust in our government. It was the year of the Thrilla in Manila and the debut of Wheel of Fortune. The Cold War and the Cod War. The Sex Pistols performed for the first time, and Phil Collins replaced Peter Gabriel in Genesis. It was a very complicated time. Seniors, what binds you to the class of 1975, those hapless teenagers with their feathered haircuts and polyester and disco, and every Durham Academy graduating class in between, is that they had the exact same hopes and dreams that you do. If you're interested to know what those hopes and dreams were, you can ask them. Some of them are your parents, who of course have just one dream for you now, to be better than they were. The members of the class of 1975 were undoubtedly asked to solve all our world's most difficult problems, just like we're asking you to do. And if you're taking requests, I have myself one dream for you. Could one of you please come up with a decent cure for receding hairline? A simple foam or cream or something. I think we've got about 5 years before things get really serious. Mr. Uckelstein and I would really appreciate it. These are the ties that bind us. You're about to become alumni of this great institution. Represent it well. I know you will. And now Dana Rowe, our salutatorian, will introduce our commencement speaker. Thank you.
I have the honor today of introducing our commencement speaker, David Cutcliffe. Coach Cutcliffe was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama, where he attended Banks High School. He played football in high school and later attended the University of Alabama, where he worked as a student assistant to the football staff. Coach Cutcliffe was named Duke University's head football coach on December 15, 2007, and immediately reinvigorated and re-energized Duke football. He inherited a program that had tallied only 3 winning seasons in the last 25 years, and who had not beaten an ACC opponent in over 3 seasons. His coaching efforts paid off, and in 2012, Coach Cutcliffe led the Blue Devils to their first win over UNC since 2003. And in doing so, Duke became bowl eligible for the first time since 1994. The following 2013 season was even more historic for Duke football. This year, Coach Cutcliffe led the Blue Devils to a school record 10 wins, including the ACC Coastal Division Championship and an appearance in the 46th annual Chick-fil-A Bowl. For this excellent season and his great coaching, Coach Cutcliffe was named the 2013 National Coach of the Year, while also earning his second consecutive ACC Coach of the Year citation. In the 2014 season, he led the team to a 9-4 win-loss record and an appearance in the Sun Bowl. Coach Cutcliffe has also spent time coaching at Ole Miss and Tennessee, and his distinguished career includes the mentoring of Super Bowl MVP quarterbacks Peyton and Eli Manning. He is also a part of our Durham Academy community. His daughter, Emily, is a member of our freshman class. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Cutcliffe.
Thank you. Dana, that was so well done, I think I'm going to take you recruiting. I truly appreciate that, and the best part of all she said in that bio is that I am a proud parent of a Durham Academy student. It's pretty awesome, isn't it, parents, huh? It is pretty awesome. My wife, Karen, is here somewhere, and we both have just been thrilled. Emily started in the 3rd grade, and we now know what we have to look forward to, right? And excited about it. But Mr. Uckelsteiner, Mr. Hark, our distinguished faculty, staff, parents, all family, friends, I am so proud to share this great evening with you. I've seen you guys grow. I have. I saw you when you were little guys. I've been here 7 years now, going into the 8th, and it's been fun to watch. You've been a part of a leadership change. You've been a part of social media just going crazy, huh, in their careers. And you've been a part of the most viral weather report in the history of the world. No doubt about that. I do want to tell you this before I go any further. Congratulations. What an accomplished career you've had academically, with the arts, with athletics, with service. But I want you to remember this before I go start on anything else. It's called, what I call with our players, taking accountability moments. There are a lot of people that have taken part in why you're sitting in these chairs. Certainly those at home, grandparents, parents. But when you see a 1st grade teacher or a 3rd grade teacher or a teaching assistant or the people that have worked at those schools that you've been a part of, make sure you say thank you, because I can't think of a better habit for young people than gratitude. Be grateful. And if you're grateful, you're rarely in a bad mood. And when you go to college, you're going to have opportunities to be in a bad mood, trust me. So just remember that gratitude and bad moods don't go together. So let's share. We heard about Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. I'm going to share a little quarterback wisdom with you guys. Is that okay? A little quarterback wisdom here. I had a buddy when I was at the University of Alabama. You know, I was around Coach Bryant and all these great mentors, but I learned more about playing quarterback from a guy that was not an athlete. He was in his 7th year at the University of Alabama seeking his undergraduate degree. I had no idea that a person could have that much fun in college. He had too much. So he finally was told by the University of Alabama, this semester, get your hours straight, get your GPA straight, or you're expelled forever. And he didn't want to waste the 7 years. He really wanted to graduate, so it came down to one class. He had to make an A in the class to leave with his degree. And then it came to he had to make an A on the final. So here's the problem. The book was this thick, and it was a comprehensive essay exam as a final. So he is studying and praying he's studying the right things. It's a lecture class, 200 people in it. Test day comes, he's confident. He knows he's ready. So he shows up. It's a theater room. He takes his seat dead in the middle of the back, 200 students in there. In that era, we wrote everything. So the test booklets are stacked up. They pass them out. The professor says, do not open them. Don't touch them. This is a timed exam. You've got exactly 50 minutes to take this test. So my buddy nodded and he waited. Professor looked at his watch and he says, begin. He turns to the first question and yes, he knows it. A comprehensive essay exam, you write everything you can, all the knowledge you possess, which he does. Second question, he knows it. Third, he knows it. He is so focused into this test, sweat comes over his brow. He is locked in, and then he comes to the last question. He flips the page, got to make an A. Flips the page, and he knows this one best of all. So he is wearing it out. He gets to the last sentence. He dots his period and looks up triumphantly to realize that only he and the professor are left in the auditorium. That's it. The professor with a disgusted look on his face. He tells my friend, I don't appreciate you ignoring me. I have told you time's up for the last 5 minutes. I am not accepting your paper. It's an F. So my buddy's heart sinks. And then he stands up, he says, Professor, you don't understand what's on the line. He says, I understand, it's an F. I'm not accepting the paper. So he comes down and he puts the paper right under the professor's chin. And he says, please just pick any question to look at. It's an A. I know this material. This is an A. I have to have this A. The professor stands his ground and says, absolutely not. Well, my buddy gets nose to nose with him. He's a pretty good sized fellow. And he puts his hands on his hips and he says, do you know who I am? And the professor gets a little weak-kneed and quiet and thinking, oh, Lord, is this the president's son? You know, what? And then he regains his composure and he tells that my buddy, he says, I have no idea who you are, nor do I care. Well, my buddy says, good. Remember, there's 199 booklets passed in. He sticks his in the middle and runs out the back. Everybody's good when it's easy, right? Huh? So all the quarterbacks that we have coached, we've tried to make them great at the toughest of times. You're going to run into more adversity than you realize. I do share that with every player. Now, I'm going to tell you pretty quickly about these because I'm going to respect your time. But I want you to remember the numbers 55. And that's not the speed limit driving to and from school, although that might help too, right, parents, huh? 55. But we teach football and life the same way. An average football play lasts about 5 seconds. I've taught this for 40 years. About 5 seconds is all a football play. You have a whistle. If you don't know much about football, the ball snaps. There's a lot going on. It's very vigorous. It's hard. And then the end of the play, around 5 seconds later, we teach 5 wins on a football play. We also teach 5 wins every day of their young lives, every single day. Well, you know what? I try to live the same thing. The first one of the 5 wins, alignment. Unless you're where you're supposed to be, you're not going to be successful. That's one of the first things that hurts college students, forget athletes. If we don't have a safety 2 yards off the hash mark, or we don't have a depth proper in the running back position, timing's gone. But if you're not where you're supposed to be, you have no chance. The next one is assignment. Knowledge is power. It takes study to play football. You have to be knowledgeable in this world. It's not enough to just know. When I say knowledgeable, it's functional. You have to understand your assignment as you move forward in life, whatever you're going to do. The third one for us is effort. And let me tell you why it comes third. I don't think effort matters if you're chaotic, if you don't know what you're doing or where you're supposed to be. But here's the kicker on effort. Everybody says work hard. Everybody says play hard. The measure is I never tell a student to work hard. I never tell a player that they have to play hard. we simply say, play harder. You can't control how hard the rest of the world is going to work. They're going to work hard. You're going to compete against some people that are special. Work harder. Understand what effort really is. The fourth one is execution, and I'm a big believer in this. Execution takes things out of theory. It takes things out of philosophy. To execute something means it is absolutely done. Get it done. Make it happen. Become involved. Don't talk about it. And then the last one is what separated. I have met a former president. I've met our military leadership, governors, great business people, billionaires. And over this 40-year career, what I think has separated them is the last part of the 55. It's finish. Learning to be a finisher. And I'm going to use this simple example, and it's a fact. It separates all of us. I could take 10 of you out randomly and take you each to a yard that is equally trashed, same size, identically trashed, and tell you, do not call me to come pick you up until you are finished. I could take 10 of your family members the same way. And when I get called and we go to that yard, I'm going to show you 10 different definitions of finished. I promise you. Teachers are nodding their head because they say finish. And then you see 10 or 15 different definitions in your classrooms. Be a finisher. Quickly, my two greatest mentors were my dad and my mom. Unique people from the deep South that weren't educated past the 8th grade. But my dad we lost young. There were 6 of us. My dad worked 7 days a week, but only Sunday afternoon where we could go to church. But one particular Sunday afternoon, he said, I'm not working. Do y'all want to go to the park? Oh my gosh. We were all athletic, so yes, we get in that 1952 Chevrolet. We go to town, go to the park. When we get out of that car, it's like, oh no, the Cutcliffes are here. We ruined every game in that park, I'm telling you. All over running, playing, going crazy. Dad stood over under a tree watching us. And in that era, you had these big old concrete picnic tables were all the parks. And he whistled loudly through his fingers. And the first whistle meant stop wherever you are. I didn't care if you were around in third base. You better stop. Dead stop. Red light, green light. Y'all play that in your generation? The second whistle meant come running. Well, my sister beat me to the car. We're all running. He gets her out of the car and he sits us all on this table. And this has been so meaningful in my life. He says, what do you see? We said, well, Dad, it's getting dark. Everybody's leaving. No, what do you see? We're hungry. He hush your mouths. What do you see? Well, we didn't see anything, but people were gone. Street lights were coming on. He said, I'll tell you what I see. I've watched this all day. This place is trashed. We're not going anywhere till every piece of trash here is picked up. Well, Daddy, we hush your mouth, go. So here goes 6 little Cutcliffes picking up trash everywhere. They had those big old World War II surplus oil drums. They're big, 55-gallon oil drums. We filled 3 of them up with trash. Can you imagine that? And then he set us all on that table, and he said, look, and the grass was cut, beautiful oak trees. It was gorgeous. And then he stuck his finger in our face, and he said, I'm going to tell you something you better remember. When a Cutcliffe goes somewhere, you leave a place better than you found it. Well, I want to challenge you. I hope certainly that you've done that, and I believe you have at Durham Academy. But as you go forward now, don't expect or think that you're going to receive. You've been taught service. I know you have. Leave wherever you go and whomever you're with better than you found them. That's what our role is on this earth. That's how big a deal it is to be a collegian. Like I said, I've been doing this 40 years. And every freshman class we have hears this. Quickly, Mom, we lost our dad, wrecked the car that we had, 6 kids. We didn't know what we were going to do. And Mother was an incredibly well-read human being to have only gone to school through the 8th grade. And she said, David, 2 things will shape the man you become. And after working with college students, I believe this deeply. She said, what you choose to read, and this was before the internet or computers or social media or anything else, what you choose to read and who you choose to associate with will shape your life. And she is so right still. Since she's left this world, she's still right. That is so critical in a young person's life. And as you leave your homes to attend college, those decisions are yours, not your parents anymore. So make a difference with your life. Aristotle, Coach Aristotle, I like to call him, got it right. You know, I used to hear it as a young athlete, perfect practice makes perfect. I've never seen perfection. But here's what Aristotle told us. We become what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act. It is a product of our habits. You have to have great habits. What I tell our players is that practice makes permanent. What you do consistently, you become. So I'm going to share one little poem, and I'll finish, I promise. It's hard for me to do 10 minutes. Just hard. But it's from William Arthur Ward, and it's a simple little poem called Do More. And this nails it. Do more than belong, participate. That means get off your seat and go work, go get it done. Do more than care, help. It's a big difference in the two. Do more than believe, live it. Do more than state it, practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. So my challenge is, and I'm going to be a little bit of a football coach, I want you to roll your sleeves up. I want to take your talent, your abilities, your great attitudes, your great energy, your great work ethic, and go get it done. Do not be denied as you move forward. You're going to do great things. God bless you and Godspeed. Thank you all.
Begin Trust the voice within. Young girl, don't cry. I'll be right here when your world starts to fall.
All right, so before I start, I would just like to assert that yes, there is a golden dragon drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola on my cap. I also have to give credit to Pira Varela, who inspired me to do this when I asked her if she was going to decorate her cap, and she replied, of course. I'm going to ask my brother Tony if I can glue his little plastic dinosaurs on top. Also, please laugh if it possesses you. It will make both you and me feel a whole lot better about this whole thing. I promise I'll try to keep my speech interesting. I remember this story of a man who shot a long-winded speaker and then went into the police to confess. And he said, "I just murdered a speaker." The sheriff looked at him quizzically. "Sir, you're in the wrong place. You pick up your reward at the bounty hunter's office." And here's another one for you. So, 2 lifeguards are working together on a beach when one of them notices sharks starting to circle around a woman who had drifted out a little too far. He begins to get up to race to her rescue when the other lifeguard grabs his arm and holds him back. The first lifeguard says, "Why are you holding me back? We have to go save that woman." To which the other replies, "Don't worry, that woman is my mother-in-law." "Are you trying to kill her?" he asked. Although that idea may be tempting, that's not my intent. Just watch. And with that, the sharks organize themselves beneath the woman and ride her on their backs and deposit her on the shore safely. "What in the world gave you the notion that that would happen?" asked the first lifeguard. To which the second replied, "Professional courtesy." Now picture this. Mr. Hark and Mr. Ulkelsteiner are the lifeguards, and the class of 2019 are the in-laws. They struggle to figure out how to deal with us. The moment re-enrolled in Durham Academy, we became, at least in part, a responsibility of the school. Meanwhile, we frolic in the ocean that is high school, mostly having fun, sometimes almost drowning in homework. But now, the times are changing. The sharks are coming to pick us up and deposit us on the newfound shores of college. These extremely strange and life-altering events have been witnessed by our loving lifeguards, Mr. Hark and Mr. Ulkelsteiner. Now, whether they let the sharks of change carry us away out of professional courtesy or simply to get rid of us, well, we'd better not ask. Looking back on my experience at Durham Academy, I can honestly say that things haven't been perfect. We all make mistakes. Whether it was a bad grade, a missed social cue, or tripping down the stairs, I'm sure all of us have things that we'd like to go back and change. And being a perfectionist myself, making mistakes is comparable to sin. Dr. Thomas put it best when he said, "Unless I consciously hold my perfectionism in check, it compresses my thinking into an all-or-nothing mindset, one in which every activity in my life becomes a test, a stressful ordeal in which I'll either be revealed to be as good as the best part of me thinks I am, or as terrible as the worst part of me has always told me that I am." But whenever I delve into those dark parts of my mind, I just remind myself, at least I'm not the one who typed in the church program that the name of the song was "Angels We Have Heard, Get High." Though the moral of this story isn't don't do drugs, kids, although that is very important too, I think we can take away something from all this. We all make mistakes. Not everyone will like us. Sometimes things in life will be so difficult, so oppressive, and so utterly unbearable that we will break down, cease functioning properly. But that is why people don't go through life as solitary beings. All right, let's take a moment and bring out the grater, because this is about to get cheesy. I've still got some tricks up my sleeve. Okay. All right. Our family, friends, teachers, mentors, and sometimes even complete strangers are there to help us, to lend us a hand when we are down and help us up. But even if they aren't stronger than the quicksand that is drowning us, the knowledge that someone is there pulling, trying their best to understand and help, that is an invaluable comfort. We have and will all go through hardships beyond our comprehension. Maybe even at this moment, some of us are struggling to sustain a smile. Unfortunately, that's life. But that isn't all of life. There have been and will be so many good and happy things in the future that I strongly urge everyone not to lose hope. Even though hope is a liability and it is the repression of what seems to be inevitable disappointment. But hope is also possibility, and possibility is what makes life worth living. I've always wondered what the point to life is, as I'm sure many of you have, and I have come to the conclusion that there is no point. But this lack of direction means that there are infinite directions. There are no restrictions. The point of life is realizing that you make your own. Each one of us is capable of amazing things. Faith and Brad, your photography is to die for. Jordan and Chloe, I have been lucky enough to play field hockey and lacrosse with you, and I can truly say that there are no kinder, more supportive, more talented athletes anywhere. Eitan, I remember I was intimidated by you at first, but I'll never regret sitting by you on the Civil Rights Tour because you've become one of my best friends. And I couldn't name a better guitarist than Ian Curvin. And Abby, I don't think I've ever met someone so devoted to postmodernism in my life. You remind me of Mr. Beersock. Pura and Alina, I'm constantly in awe of your digital art skills. And Katie Vincent and Helen Morgan are two of the kindest people that I have ever met. Oh, and I could go on and on about every single person in our graduating class, because all of you have made my high school experience unforgettable. It has been so wonderful. And if there's anything I want you to take away from this speech, it's that if we can just take a step back and have a good laugh together, then the whole world is bound to be that much brighter. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. When I was first asked to give a speech at commencement, I did what 4 years of high school have taught me to do. I Googled how to do it. The first thing that came up was a convenient template for a great valedictory speech. Here's the first paragraph. My fellow graduates, over the last 4 years here at insert name of high school, we have learned a lot. Mr. insert name of math teacher taught us how to insert complicated sounding math thing. Mrs. insert name of English teacher taught us insert tidbit from a favorite piece of literature. And Mr. insert name of widely known funny popular teacher taught us insert something odd that parents might be surprised to learn, like that he taught you how to swear in Portuguese. Make it funny but revealing. Now, I could fill in all those blanks for you. I could talk to you about Mr. Ebert or Mr. Adair, Dr. Thomas or Miss Fraser, but that feels a little formulaic somehow. Instead, I'd like to talk to you today about something that I think is relevant. Beginnings and endings. I know that this sounds a little bit cliched, but cliches are cliche for a reason, so please bear with me here. This is an ending. There's no way around that. This ceremony marks the end to our high school career, a capstone to 4 years of blood, sweat, and graphite. Those of us graduating tonight and in the next few weeks are heading into one of the strangest summers of our lives. We're too old for high school now. Already, the underclassmen are plotting which lunch spots currently occupied by seniors they'll be taking next year. But we're not quite college freshmen yet, and so it's easy to be consumed by that feeling of loss and ending. In Carson McCullers' 1946 novel, The Member of the Wedding, protagonist Frankie Adams faces a similar situation. She thinks she's about to leave her small southern town forever. There are all these people here I don't know by sight or by name, she says. We pass alongside each other and don't have any connection. They don't know me and I don't know them, and now I'm leaving town and there are all these people that I will never know. DA is small enough that most of us know each other by sight, even if we don't know each other by name. But I would be lying if I said that I knew everyone sitting up here on stage very well. And so I can't help but share Frankie's sentimental feelings. That's the nature of endings like this. They make you feel nostalgic, and you find yourself grasping for things you never even had in the first place, things that are familiar in any small way. A few weeks ago, I mentioned feeling like this to one of my teachers, like everything is ending. I worried that I would quickly lose touch with my friends without seeing them every day, that I would never feel at home in a different city, in a different state, and that I would miss all of the connections and comfort that are now here at DA. This teacher sighed. I wish I could send you forward in time about 3 months, he said. Everything feels like an ending right now because you can't see everything that's coming. It's easy to focus on all of the losses of friendship or comfort or familiarity right now, but it's difficult to understand that not everything about leaving a place is a loss. We will all make new friends in college, and we will all find a place of our own somehow. Sorry, I told you this was going to be cliché. I think another part of this ending that really bothers me is that it's not neat and pretty. In the movie version of My High School Life, this is inevitably where the screen would fade to black to the beat of a catchy pop song, indicating all of the great moments to come. Maybe while the credits scroll, there would be a montage of all my great times in high school. Unfortunately, though, my life isn't a movie. None of ours is. In fact, they're more like never-ending soap operas. That's partly due to the dramatic nature of high school students, but also the fact that after one seemingly apocalyptic storyline ends, the characters still pick up and move on. This feels like an ending, and rightly so, but it's certainly not a neat one. This episode of our lives has finished, but that doesn't mean that there won't be another. Everything else is on the horizon, but we just can't see it yet. In December 1995, Bill Watterson published the final strip of the beloved comic Calvin and Hobbes. This was undoubtedly an ending, and a sad one too. The strip had run for 10 years. But the final installment says nothing about endings. Instead, it features Boy and Tiger going out into the woods after it's just snowed. Everything familiar has disappeared. The world looks brand new, exclaims Hobbes, and Calvin comments that it's a day full of possibilities. The last panel ever features them sledding off to even more adventures. I'd like to think of graduation and moving on to college in the same way. Everything familiar has disappeared. High school life is done. But because we don't exist solely in high school, your body will not disappear the second that you walk across the stage and receive your diploma, thankfully. As much as it would be nice to be neatly done, this is only the beginning. And that's scary because it will be difficult and it will be new. But I remember feeling the exact same way on my first day at DA in 9th grade, and I think that's turned out all right. Movie characters and protagonists of novels get neat endings. They've served their purpose. They don't need to exist anymore. But real people aren't like that. Real people don't serve as a symbol or a character or anything that exists in a novel. Not having a neat ending is, in its own way, a really, really great thing. We get to keep going. We get to reinvent ourselves in college, or start a new project, or keep going just the way you are if the way you are makes you happy. The chance to start over and over and over again, and to make beginnings out of such endings, is a gift that we are given as people that live in a very complicated and not neat world. As a final thought going forward, I'd like to leave you with the results of my original Google search. Here's the template for how to end a graduation speech. As a final thought going forward, I'd like to leave you with a quote from insert name of someone you'd like to quote. The best people to quote are people that you've personally learned from, like your parents or grandparents. For example, my grandfather told me that a high school education is a great thing just so long as you're willing to learn something after you graduate. I don't think either of my grandfathers has ever actually said that, so instead I'll leave you with this quote from Calvin and Hobbes. It's a magical world, buddy. Let's go exploring. Thank you.
is the only light we'll see.
No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea,
I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me.
so darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh,
In 1988, the Durham Academy Board of Trustees established the F. Robertson Hershey Distinguished Faculty Award in recognition of former headmaster Rob Hershey's decade of dedication to faculty excellence. Since that time, 26 teachers have been recognized for their extraordinary talents and contributions. These teachers represent the best in teaching at Durham Academy by inspiring enthusiasm in the classroom and encouraging academic aspiration, by demonstrating sensitivity to the academic and personal needs of the individual student, by encouraging and supporting the efforts of colleagues, by promoting the cooperation of a broad spectrum of the Durham Academy community, and by contributing to school life outside the classroom. I'm pleased to add this surprise element to today's program to announce that this year's Hershey Award goes to an upper school teacher. In the 14 years since he arrived at Durham Academy, this teacher has changed hundreds of lives with patient compassion, hungry curiosity, and unshakable support for students. When I see him, said one colleague, I see quiet charisma and rock-solid credibility. Everybody on this campus trusts him to do the right thing, and he proves us right every day. Students work hard to rise to his high expectations in the classroom. They especially respect his fairness with grading and evaluations. They applaud his efforts to supercharge history lessons with technology, controversy, and collaboration, sometimes all at once. Says one student, I love his class and look forward to it each day. This teacher is rarely alone in his classroom, whether giving advice to a student in need, chatting with a colleague about a new curricular unit, or welcoming a visiting alumnus back to campus. He seems always to be listening, thinking, connecting, and helping. Each August, more than 100 11th graders and teachers embark on Durham Academy's Civil Rights Tour, a trip envisioned, designed, and still led each year by this teacher. Lean into discomfort, he advises his passengers as they confront and reflect on some of the most inspiring and horrific chapters of American history. Quiet, courteous, and gentle, this teacher's hidden talents, from singing Lift Every Voice in Keenan Auditorium to breaking planks as a black belt in Taekwondo, have sometimes surprised us. Beneath that gentle manner lies a driven, dedicated, principled educator who champions his students in and beyond the classroom. The following words, written about this faculty member by a recent graduate, nicely summarize what excellence in teaching looks like at Durham Academy. I created a network of teachers that served me very well, but I found that one teacher who became my everything. He happened to be my advisor. He is my mentor, teacher, therapist, comedian, mediator, punching bag, role model, and friend. He's almost my surrogate dad. I'll miss him. I hope that other DA students will be able to find their one teacher too. For his humility, compassion, and generosity, for enriching our understanding of history, for changing hundreds of lives in positive ways, we honor with this 2015 F. Robertson Hershey Distinguished Faculty Award, Owen Bryant.
Wait for Owen. He might be lost back there, I don't know. I probably should have walked him back out. Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, we're to the heart of the order here. It is my great pleasure to present the class of 2015. Lily Flanagan Anderson. Jordan Lawler Berry. Alex Michael Basile. William Dietrich Beischer. Hannah Elizabeth Brantwaite. Nathaniel Emerson Brooke. Derek Thomas Brown. Claire Elizabeth Burdick. Lillian Maud Burdick. Cameron Milford Byerly. Brianna Nicole Bird. Patrick Aiden Callahan. Holly Isabella Caudle. Justin Sungbin Chang. Zane Peter Claypax. Mark Philip Cohen. Neil Stephen Cornwell. Faith Hannah Grace Couch. James Peter Dauber. Eliza Rose Decker. Jackson Childers Dellinger. Emma Catherine Eason. Sarah Jean Evans. Kevin Joseph Foley. Leo Gafinovitz. Annabella Faye Gong. Caitlin Grant. Nathaniel Thomas Greeley. James William Grubbs. Dina Claire Gilak. Elizabeth Grace Hall. Sabrina Lee Harden. Nicholas Liam Davis Herndon. Kyle David Higgins. Bradley James Hodgen. Allison Rose Jansen. Brooke Elise Joins. Relitza Kona Kalfas. Jonathan Bradley Kim. Spencer Sabine Kim. Ian Douglas Curvin. Sujata Sunil Kishnani. Abhishek Kodamagula. Alexander Apostolos Kontos. Olivia Chen Young Koo. Jason Anthony Lapidus. Connor Jacobs Leach. Chelsea Victoria Leversedge. Chloe Silliman Lewis. Marie Sidney Lee. Dylan Steele Lucas. Alyssa Mackley. Caroline Isabel Manson. Charles Mason Maxfield. Amanda Caroline Robertson McClure. Morgan Eugenie McDonald. Catherine Helen McCutcheon. Helen Griffin Morgan. Emma Lily Myers. Eric Joseph Narton. Marielle Bryn O'Connell. David P. Oglesby. Thomas Stephen Arthur Olson. Peter Takish Partner. Colette Anthony Patel. Sachi Hamong Pathak. Timothy Theodore Pizer. Megan Townley Pottinger. Amanda Elizabeth Pruthi. Priyanka Kiran Purohit. Rebecca Miriam Rabiner. Austin Elizabeth Regneris. Andres Alejandro Rosa. Stephanie Lynn Rosen. Dana Grace Rowe. Eitan Sapiro Gaylor. Erin Rebecca Seawalt Dietz. Ariana Marie Sheeks. Anna Maria Virginia Sotolongo. Jordan Geyer Stenner. Rena Lynn Sudan. Anna Catherine Sunday. Abhinav Swaminathan. Aaron Daniel Therian. Alston Dupree Thompson. Henry Elliott Tucker. Miranda Maria Garcia Turner. Pira Fortier Varela. Sophia Evelyn Velasquez. Catherine Marie Vincent. Irene Rebecca Wallen. Alina Goel Walling. Elaine Xiao Wang. Alice Hale Ward. Justin Michael Warren. Anna Flexer Wares. Caroline Susanna Wexler. Jerry Karen Williamson. Tova Jean Williamson. Lucy Elizabeth Woolman. Elena Marie Womble. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the class of 2015.
The passing of the school banner is a tradition established by Bess Pickard Boone, who served for 20 years as headmistress of Durham Academy's predecessor, Calvert Method School. The Durham Academy banner represents the school's highest ideals of honor and excellence. Passing the school banner is a tradition that has endured for over 7 decades. It is a tradition that will take place in a few weeks at Durham Academy's preschool, lower school, and middle school's closing exercises, and occurs now at senior commencement. It is my honor, as president of the Student Council, to pass this banner to the rising senior class. I challenge you to cherish and protect this banner and the ideals it represents, and to accept the rich and honorable heritage of Durham Academy. Abe Dunderdale, incoming Student Council President, please come forward and accept this banner on behalf of the class of 2016.